My question to you is, why do people still have such a fear of weight training?
Hands down, it is intimidation and lack of knowledge. So, for example, my personal training business has flourished on that fact because I have created strategies and classes and group training specifically designed for women in particular to learn the basics of weight training, because they are so intimidated by the thought of picking up a pair of dumbbells or a barbell or using a bit of kit in the gym, because they have no clue how to do it and no real knowledge about why it is beneficial. You know, I think it's so safe to walk in a gym and get on the cross trainer, press quick start, level up and stay there for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what my friend in America calls renting equipment to sweat on.
Yeah.
And what he means by that, you know, obviously like say tons of budget chains, etc., etc. And he says like no information, no support. He says those members are just renting equipment to sweat on. There's no outcome to it.
Yeah, and I think they just don't know, or they're just so worried. Generally, what I get told is people are going to look at me. I don't know how to use the kit. I feel stupid. I'm going to do it wrong. I'm going to hurt myself.
Yep.
I don't want to get too bulky. You know, all this fear based around weight training in women I see in particular. In the male side of things, I think it's because they weight train, they come in, they do their basic splits and they don't see results, and that's because they're not following a specific program that includes progressions and stuff. I think from my experience, it's complete fear and lack of knowledge on how to do it and not getting results. So
let's maybe take that back right to the start then. So weight training, lifting weights, resistance training is the number one most efficient way to recomp your body, lose fat, lose weight, whatever it is. There's no dispute on that, okay? No. So if somebody wants to go on PubMed and check out all the studies, they can find tons and tons of research that shows that resistance training, weight training lowers your BMI. Resistance training will promote the hormones that keep you younger for longer. It will reduce your risk of injury. It will improve your mental health. It will improve your performance in academic tests. It will improve insulin sensitivity, which means that when you do eat carbohydrates, you have a far greater chance of them being stored in the liver and the muscle tissue as glycogen, as opposed to being stored as fat, okay? So what we call insulin resistance, which typically happens when people do not have any resistance training. That it is undisputable, okay, that weight training is the number one requirement. It's a wonder drug, and yet people still don't do it. So I think the best thing that we can do in the next 5 minutes is try to uncover why they don't do it, and then reassure them about it's actually not that bad.
No.
You're saying there's a fear of coming to the gym, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Then if they do come to the gym, there's a fear of, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I 100%. Might look silly or I might hurt myself.
Yep.
And then if they overcome the first two, then maybe what they do, and if I think back to sort of when I started, I always remember people would try and use the machines that looked easiest.
Yes.
So like leg extensions and chest press.
All the fixed weight machines,
looked easiest, which is fine to a degree, but it's not really gonna, it's like when people just say to me, oh, I tried the gym, it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I say, well, what did you do? Oh, I went on the treadmill for 10 minutes, did a few of these. Well, it wasn't the gym that didn't work.
Yeah.
It was the program that didn't work.
Definitely.
Okay, so women maybe are scared that they're going to get big lifting weights.
Yes.
Yeah? Not going to happen.
So I quite often get asked, like, oh, I want to tone up, but I don't want to get too big. And essentially what I try to explain is that there's no such thing as getting too big, because as females, we just do not produce enough testosterone for that to happen.
Men to get too big,
You'd have to be eating a phenomenal amount of food to make those sort of gains. And the people you're probably referring to are the people that you've probably seen on social media who are either elite bodybuilders and completely train and strip down to look like they do on their social media for a day, and they do not look like that all the time.
And there might be some filters, and there might be some assistance.
Yeah, or they're pharmaceutically enhanced.
Never.
That's the polite way of saying it. So that is just a factor that you have to completely eliminate. That is not going to happen.
Yep.
Also, I then try and educate them on the fact that this idea of toning muscle is basically building muscle and losing fat. You're basically asking me to show you how I can make you see the muscles on your body. And there's only one way to do that, and that's weight train to build and stimulate your lean muscle tissue, and be in a calorie deficit to drop the body fat.
Sure. So if we use the phrase ever decreasing circle, so I think you said in maybe episode 1 or 2 about, people are going to be training 4 hours a day with this type of approach. So if, say, people were just to adopt a very restrictive calorie diet, and I think that's the way to continually lose weight, then what you get to is a place with an ever decreasing circle. For people to sustain a body composition and a health long term, what they need to do is to increase their metabolic rate. Aging is actually trying to decrease it, because with age we're losing lean tissue, and our hormones are starting to decline, maybe from age 35 or somewhere around there, 30, 35, something like that. Different for everyone. Wait till you get to 45. Different for everyone. Okay, and there are certain things you can do which offset that. The number one being resistance training. And to go back to what we said right at the start of the show, it's even more important now because our lifestyles have so little resistance and they have so little manual activity. 100 years ago, or maybe longer, you think about someone just doing the washing. The washing was very manual. You think about people were growing their own vegetables in their gardens. People were lighting fires and chopping.
People were walking everywhere.
So there was a lot more movement, but there was a lot more resistance. And it's that resistance. I mean, you can even take this as far as saying things like osteoporosis. When you don't have stress on bones, you don't have stress on joints and muscles, the risk of injury and problems just goes through the roof. So aside from weight training being the key to avoiding the ever decreasing circle and literally ended up living at a place where you can only eat 500 calories a day without gaining weight, which is hell, it's also an anti-aging, a mental health, it's everything. It's kind of the wonder drug. If you could put it in a pill form, everyone would take it. But people are scared to come to the gym. When they come to the gym, they're scared to try things. And then if they do that, maybe they don't do the right thing. Okay.
100%.
So let's maybe move into what they should do when they come to the gym. So what we're going to advise people to do now, bearing in mind they'd be supported by a trainer, so they would definitely not be on their own. They'd be with Tiff or be with Michi or whoever. So if anyone's watching this thinking, I don't know what to do, we're not a place where people just walk in the door and left to their own devices. You're looked after here.
And just to reiterate that, like I come from a place where I didn't have a great experience at a leisure centre rather than a gym like this. So, when I was younger and I was looking for help, I joined a leisure centre and I went into the gym, and the gym was probably smaller than this room here. And I was given an induction where I was told, you press quick start and this is how you go up levels and this is how you go down. I was never shown how to use the weight equipment, and I know that I felt like, no one showed me how to use that, so I better not touch it. So if someone's coming off the back of an experience like that, which happens a lot, I hear about it a lot and I see it a lot, walking into this environment where everyone knows what they're doing, because that's how we coach people here. We make sure they know how to use the equipment and they are confident in doing it. Then you probably are going to be like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to stick with my leisure centre cross trainer for 20 minutes. But like you say, here we have a strategic plan for every member. They have their induction. They are specifically given a trainer who will show them how to use the kit, give them a program that will include all the kit and make sure that they know how to do that independently. And even if they come in week 3, week 4 and they're still not confident, there will always be someone here to show them that and help them and demonstrate whatever they need. That's what I love about this gym, and is our saving grace for people like that.
The analogy I always use, so when people would join the gym and they say, well, I tried the gym thing, it didn't work for me. And I would say to them, what did you do? And I say, well, when you go to the dentist, do you just ask to borrow his equipment? And they look at me like I'm mad. And I say, well, do you do your own fillings? And then I'd say, when you go to the garage, you just say to the mechanic, can I just borrow your jack a minute? They'd look at me like I'm mad. And I'd say, well, it's the same principle here. All of this stuff can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So it's our job to kind of provide you with that service.
100%.
So in terms of what sort of thing, if we just basically said it's going to be predominantly resistance based, there's going to be some mobility work, there's going to be some cardio, it's going to be progressive. So again, I'd like to talk to the people that think, well, I'm just not fit, I'm 25 stone. It's going to be pitched at a level that's right for you, but it is largely going to be about lifting weights safely in particular rep ranges that promote say the growth and the stimulation of lean tissue.